So we're at the Upchurches this year, and I've been elected to make a pasta sauce, the Italian meal. We've got some wines here from Napa River. We also have some Pine Ridge. We've got some basic raw ingredients here, and Miss Judy will be the person that will be doing some or maybe most of the videography. So, Jillian is just an innocent bystander, yet she bellows with laughter internally. And there she is, in all of her glory. So we've got some basic ingredients that need to cook for a long time, so I'm going to start those first. We've cleaned out the blender, so this is pristine. I'll use that to blend the tomatoes, and I think every other jar I'll pour the liquid off to get some thickness. And you want to use canned tomatoes because there's tons more flavor in a canned tomato than there is in a fresh tomato, believe it or not. They package them when they're much riper than we like to see them on the shelf. I'll zip these up, get them all nice and pureed. Some people like them more chunky, but I'm going to go for a smoother sauce today. And we'll puree them to get a nice consistency. And this will start there's a lovely consistency now that will disappear later on. The whiteness is just caused by air mixing with the red tomatoes, but not to worry. And you can see we've already had several cans added. And then we will constantly be adding some fresh basil packed by herb thyme today. We'll be adding that as this reduces down. There's plenty of meats and things that we'll be cooking. We'll have meatballs and ribs. That's enough.
And sausage.
The sausages are going to actually be broken up and added to the meatballs this time.
Oh, okay.
I like to add pork and hamburger together when I make a meatball. It adds to the level of fat that eventually comes out in, it'll actually emulsify and become part of the sauce. So it's not really cholesterol adding fat when it's emulsified. It actually goes through you, but it adds a succulence and a flavor. And
Did you hear that, Jill?
savoriness.
What?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
You were making noise when he said it was...
She went,
Oh.
Oh. Jill will be part as my sidekick.
Psych?
Sidekick.
Sidekick.
That's it. Yeah, she said psych.
And then Boober. I don't think she'll be helping at all. Okay. Enough for now.
Many more ingredients to come. The base of every good tomato sauce, right here, is using really ripe, wonderful tomatoes, picked at the peak of freshness and ripeness. The next step here, we'll start preparing the meatballs. I've already got a pan starting to warm up. I'm taking the chill off the pan. As they get closer, I'll increase the heat, add olive oil, virgin olive oil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to use some Italian sausages here, which have a pork content and some spice. I will take the casings off, mix them with the fairly lean, good cut of burger meat here. We'll add some spices. Typically you add to flavor, chopped parsley. Another good way of cheating is using the Progresso Italian style breadcrumbs. This adds the bread, which holds the moisture. You're going to add water to reconstitute the moisture here. And it'll help bind the meatballs together nicely so they have a nice feel and taste with the rich flavor. They also have Parmesan Reggiano cheese inside here, so it really brings everything together. Before I'm done, I will add some Reggiano cheese to this to bring out some nice flavors in the meatballs, and we'll fry them up. We'll basically caramelize the outsides of them and then add them to the sauce, where they'll continue cooking and adding flavor. So now we're just adding some garlic. I've already peeled the skins off of the sausages. I'm adding some garlic. It probably varies every time I make a meatball recipe here. So if it's too garlicky, then it will be good to people who like more garlic. If it's not garlicky enough, you just won't even notice. You'll just say, it tastes like a meatball. After we add all the herbs and spices, I'll add the rest of the meat, some eggs, some water, some Italian style breadcrumbs, and I'll just feel for consistency and take a pretty good guess at it.
What spice you put in it?
So we've got Spices included in here are most of the Italian spices.
Oh, okay, so it's just in the breadcrumbs. That's the only spice you're using?
No, then we have garlic, which is a spice,
Oh.
and we have parsley that I have in there. And based on the way it smells and everything, I may add some Italian seasoning to it. But basically, yeah, you want to taste the meat, and this all brings out the flavor of the meat. So we're back towards the final stages here. We've added Reggiano Parmigiano cheese, seasoned breadcrumbs, eggs, garlic, parsley, sausages, that is spicy sausages for the pork content, eggs, and I'm going to add some water too, and I'm going to feel for consistency, and again, it's very subjective. And I'll work this in with my hands that have been cleaned constantly. Oh, it's nice and cold. Some of it's still a little frozen in the middle there.
What kind of cheese did you do?
Today I used Reggiano Parmigiano cheese. Oftentimes I like Romano, that's my favorite. I think to me they're interchangeable, but some people prefer street Parmigiano. But we happen to have a Reggiano Parmigiano block, and it smelled just wonderful. I never, ever, ever use cheese that's been pre-grated and preserved. The flavor's just not there. It just doesn't do it. I mean, if you want to have a meatball that's special, tastes really good, why not just use the block of cheese and grate it yourself? So, oh, it's cold.
And now we're cooking.